Good afternoon. My name is Matt Selman. I am the current men's and women's swim coach here at PLU. And today is my great and humbling privilege to introduce to you my swim coach and many others that are here today, Jim Johnson, for induction to the PLU Athletics Hall of Fame. Jim has a lot of experience winning here as a Loop. For 31 years, he was a swimming coach and put together a long and impressive list of achievements. But at the college level, especially here at PLU at the Loop Dome, sports go much deeper than just the numbers. Jim was a constant here for more than 30 years, as I just stated, and his contributions to the entire community cannot easily be measured. Alongside his coaching responsibilities, Jim also managed the PLU aquatics programs and was the tie that bound the university to the Parkland-Spenaway community. Through the swimming lessons he ran for decades, the age group swim team he started, and through his passion for the everyman, he made the PLU pool the front door and the backyard pool for all of Parkland. Jim welcomed everybody. He values his relationships with those that he knows and loves very much. And I know he takes great pride in those relationships he found with his athletes and those that he worked closely with at the pool. His only caveat was that you had to show up and work hard. And with that, you could earn, and many did, his everlasting respect and loyalty. But the Hall of Fame is an athletic honor, and athletic success is most often gauged with statistics, championships, winning percentage, and the numbers of awards claimed. With Jim, that's not a problem. Jim was the greatest dual meet coach I've ever seen, winning 339 dual meets during his tenure, earning his milestone 300th with a win against Pacific in 05-06. But what's most impressive about that measure of success, those 339 wins, is that many came against teams that on paper were better than his teams. He won those meets as a coach because he could write a lineup and use his team better than most any coach out there. He outcoached countless coaches. Those 339 wins also included a stretch of 10 years from 83 to 92, during which the women were unbeaten in conference competition. Jim could prepare a team as well as anybody for the big meets, conference, nationals. His grasp of the taper, the art of the taper, was legendary. Every one of his athletes knew that if we could just endure the training, make it through the season until February, the taper would be well worth it. This is evidenced by his 18 conference championships and the fact that his teams never finished lower than 20th at the NEIA National Championships while we were NEIA. We were a different team when rested. We knew that, and oftentimes, more importantly, every other team knew that. Jim was also handed quite a few plaques in his time, receiving Northwest Conference Coach of the Year 3 times, and had they offered that award in the 80s, I think they started in 88, he probably would have had a dozen more. Along with the NEI District 1 Coach of the Year 4 times, and the NEI National Women's Coach of the Year in 1985. His athletes also earned some pretty solid accolades under his tutelage. He coached 1 woman to the National Swimmer of the Year honor, Carrie Butcher in '86. 42 women earned All-American honors, 16 of which were named academic All-Americans. 37 men did the same, while 17 of those were academics All-Americans as well. We won't even try to cover how many individual conference championships Jim's athletes won. Way too many. But even bigger than those huge time drops, wins and championships, Jim successfully battled throat cancer in 08-09. Taking a year off from coaching before returning to the pool for one final season. And in good news, he just was recently named cancer-free. Lori Turner, our AD, has this to say about Jim when he retired after 2010. Pacific Lutheran swimmers have long benefited from Jim's coaching and passion for swimming. He has always placed great emphasis on the team nature of the sport that is often viewed as an individual endeavor. And the athletes in the program itself are better for it. So, be it with his work ethic, his intense competitiveness, his committed coaching style and smarts, or maybe due to his sets with names like Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside, the Shakedown, the Tagman 400, the 1650 countdown, or his motivational quotes such as go under a minute, beat somebody, fire out, boom. How hard can it possibly be? Or you really only have to swim one of them. And of course, you can thank me later. Jim managed to put together quite the resume. So from all of us, thank you, Jim. It is now later. Now, all the swimmers, we've got a large crowd here. There's only one way we can welcome Jim to the stage, so let's say it together. With no further ado, let us approach the swimming area.
You took half my speech. As many of you know, I'm a parakeet. If you don't know what a parakeet is, ask Lloyd. But on this occasion, to describe my tenure here, I thought I would borrow a lyric from the Grateful Dead and Jerry Garcia. Sometimes the lights are shining on me. Other times I can barely see. But lately it occurs to me what a long, strange trip it's been. This long, strange trip started in Bozeman, Montana, around Christmas time in 1978. I'd just taken a job managing the city of Bozeman's swimming pools. I was sitting in my office, newspaper on my desk, telling me the city was millions of dollars in debt, and what's that going to mean for the swimming pools. I had been there such a short time. The welcome wagon lady was actually in my office, giving me all these wonderful gifts. He passes. I think I got a shotgun or a 22. Randy, I think you ended up with whatever. I can't remember. Anyways, I get a phone call. Said, Coach, some doctor in Washington wants to talk to you. Just another rich doctor wants to come out to Bozeman and ski during the holidays and have me babysit the kids. So I listen to how good their kid is for a while, and you know how I got to do this and do that, and I say $5 a practice. So I figure I can handle a phone call and the welcome wagon lady. So I say, yeah, put him through. So I got this guy on the phone, some doctor. Yeah, okay. Welcome wagon. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, wonderful. Yeah. So this goes on for a little bit. And then the phone call starts to not make any sense. So I tell the welcome wagon lady, hold it here. I said, just a second here, Doc. Let's start over. And that was my first glimpse of his legendary patience. This is Dr. David Olson from Pacific Lutheran University. Now, we got a job open out here you've been recommended for. You interested or not? So I look at the just a second, Doc. I look at the newspaper again. I says, these are my first words to Dr. Olson other than hello. And so you're not a real doctor then, are you? No, I'm a PhD. Now, you interested or not? Look at this. So I say to the welcome wagon lady, you know, could these lovely welcome gifts be lovely partying gifts? So I said, okay, yeah, Doc, I'll make some arrangements and fly out. Now it's Christmas time, and I kind of debated whether to tell this story, but yeah, that's me. So the flights were all booked except for first class. So they were going to fly me first class. Now, I've never flown first class because I was always a coach. So what do you think I flew? Coach. So, flying first class, but I heard these wonderful things, which included free drinks. And I know this is going to come as a shock to a lot of you, my family, and I am a man who on special occasions and national holidays enjoys an adult beverage. But I've done a little research about PLU and Dave specifically, and those were the days, you know, when they could meet you at the gates. I said, no, I know in my history, better not have a drink. So anyways, I get on the plane, stewardess comes around, would you like a cocktail? No, thank you. They're complimentary. And no, thank you. No, thank you. She goes, that means free. You know, what can one drink hurt? So I figured, sure. Well, I guess I don't need to tell you, especially those that know me, the rest of the story and how it turned out. But Dave and Arvis were there at the gate to meet me, and somehow I got the job, and here we are 31 years later. So it truly has been a long trip. Along the way, I figure we had 5,000 practices. Matt already told you the name of all the practices. Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside, the Shakedown. I figure we swam 15,000 miles in practice. That's across the Pacific and back again. Everybody got a nickname. As I look out there, I see, and nicknames weren't always politically correct, or flattering. I see a dingbat, I see a fish, I see the big guy, I see the baiter, I see butts, I see Smellman. What else do I see? I see a lot more out there, some of which I can't tell you the nicknames, but we swam in 593 dual meets. We competed in 39 national championships. We swam in 17 different states. Along the way, I survived several grievances, a kangaroo court, a death threat, cancer, 3 university presidents, I'm on my 4th, vice presidents, too numerous to mention, and 3 athletic directors. I talked about Dave recently, briefly. Dave always said, you know, somewhere along the way, somebody gave us a chance. He was the guy that gave me a chance. Paul Hosett took over for Dave. Paul was my mentor. I mentioned the kangaroo court. He was actually my counselor and my attorney. It was just a great example of a professional man. Somebody to look up to and somebody to emulate. Now Lori, I've worked for her the shortest time. Seemed like the longest. So I don't know her quite as well. But I will say she can make the tough decision. Just ask several of our former coaches. I'm glad Jim Kittlesby's not here because I'd hate to compliment him with him here, but Lori works as hard as Jim Kittlesby. And if any of you knew Jim Kittlesby, you know what a compliment that is. Certainly made some great facility upgrades, and how about those Lutz Fall Sports? Wow. How about that? You know, when I was thinking about who I was going to thank, other than the athletic directors, the people that helped me the most, you know, certainly wasn't the administration or anything like that. It was my janitors. I was responsible for taking care of the pool, and my janitors helped me immensely. Al Didio, my first janitor, great man, a close friend until the day he died. Ross Winters, I don't think anyone throughout my years at PLU helped me at the pool more than Ross, first as my janitor, and then as a geez, he did everything. He was the plumber. He was an engineer. Now I think he's kind of second in command to Bruce. And Big Dan Cashin, of all the janitors I had, Big Dan was the tallest. He's not here today, or you know what I meant. Also wanted to thank our secretaries. Mindy Henderson, Dorothy Tobiasen, Dee Polson, Tony Curtis, Sandra Kostelecki, Joanne Davis, who's here, I believe, and Luann Corso, who's also here, I believe. Those were the people that really helped me the most. Matt kind of stole some of my speech, but I wanted to talk about what I was most proud of. And my job, I always thought job one was keeping the pool safe. In my 30-plus years, I figure we had somewhere between 2 and 3 million people use the pool. With the 4 high school swim teams, our age group team, our college team, our lessons, our PLU classes, our senior program, and of those 2 million plus, none of them drowned. That's the record. And that didn't happen by accident. Many of the people that helped me are here, which you'll meet in just a moment. The other thing, I figure we taught about 50,000 people to swim or to swim better. We had about 1,000 in our summer lesson program, another 500 to 1,000 in our elementary school swimming lesson program. And also that I gave a lot of people their first jobs. I figure I had 1,500 employees, gave many of them their first jobs. I wanted to point out Rick Eastman is here, and his family. I gave all 3 kids of his their first jobs, and they're all here, and they're all still working somewhere. So very happy with that. But most of all, I wanted to thank the people that worked for me and swam for me, my assistant coaches, my managers, and I would ask them to all stand, if they would, please. Come on. Stand up. Come on. Stay standing here. Stay standing. Rick Pitino, who just went into the Basketball Hall of Fame, you may know him better, and Steve will appreciate this, as the father of Golden Gopher basketball coach Richard Pitino, said on his recent introduction into the Hall of Fame, coaches don't go to the Hall of Fame, athletes put them there. These are the people that put me here. We share this award. Thank you.